We got Hello Joe, Big Al and Andy. Hope all of you are doing well, enjoying the summer. This is our friend Priya.
Yeah.
Haven't heard from Priya in a while.
I remember.
Yep. I have a conundrum. Yep. And would like to hear your thoughts on the following. There are so many experts, including your show, suggest that for an average investor like me to pick a few funds, maybe an index fund or some low-cost ETFs to invest for the long term. I follow this process, and I do own the S&P 500 index fund and a few other Vanguard Broad Market ETFs. By this, the individual investor has no control over what stocks will be owned in the fund. Does this mean, for the sake of investment returns, do we have to ignore our conscience and values? Getting deep here, Al.
Yeah, right.
If I'm an investor who supports green energy, anti-gun laws, and humane animal treatment in my day-to-day life, and maybe contributing to those causes, but at the same time invest in a broad fund like VTSAX, which holds gun companies, big factory farms, fossil fuel companies, etc., then am I a hypocrite, or am I overthinking this? We'd like to hear both of your answers. I feel like I'm on the stand.
What say you, Mr. Anderson?
Yeah, we're not getting political. A lot of really crazy, stupid stuff going on in the world. But Priya still enjoys listening to our podcast every week while walking her dog, watching our TV shows on YouTube, drinking watermelon frescas. Ooh,
Agua frescas.
Got it. As a throwback to your old shows, can you bring back Big Al's list segment? Thanks.
I've been meaning to do that.
No, it's never happened. For some reason, it's that show keeps popping up with you saying, like, here's the best states to.
Oh, I know.
That was years ago.
And
then that one guy was like, this is the worst show in the world.
Did no preparation. You got a Kiplinger article. You just read them off. I go, oh yeah, I did actually.
Dude, that's exactly what that show was. So yeah, all right, Priya, what you could go ESG,
yeah,
right? If you don't want to go in the broad-based market index funds, then I would go with something that kind of suits your values a little bit more. If you don't want to invest in some of the companies that are in the S&P or a broad-based index fund.
Yeah, so ESG, environmental, social, and governance. So there's all kinds of funds that really try to figure out how to take care of people like you. Now, since you're at Vanguard, I happen to call up something just for fun, and I'm not recommending this. This is just, I'm reading something that I found. Let me be very clear. Vanguard FTSE Social Index Fund. So let's see. So they have environmental screens that look at water use and pollution. They have social screens that cover labor standards, health and safety records, community impact. They look at governance from corporate risk to anti-corruption standards. Any firms involved in coal, tobacco, weapons systems, components for controversial weapons like landmines, chemical weapons, are automatically excluded. There's all kinds of funds like this. So pick one of those. And then if you really want to get deep, there's funds that just do green energy or whatever is important to you. So just dig a little bit deeper. You can still have a good, great diversified portfolio, low cost. Vanguard is the one I picked because you were at Vanguard, but you can go to Schwab, you can go to Fidelity, you can go virtually anywhere and find similar funds.
Sure. And I think the technology is only getting better for firms that can do like direct indexing, for instance, that you can create your own screens.
That's true too.
You know, everyone has. It is so hard with ESG sometimes.
It's very hard because everyone has a little different idea.
Opinion or different idea, right? So then you get the big company saying, here, this is our belief system.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, I like 80% of this, but I hate the other 20%. So then you're kind of stuck in the same situation.
Yeah. So that's why you can go granular and invest in real specific funds, but then you're not as well diversified. So that's the downside of that.
Right. So then if those companies go under. But what we found too, is that when people have like a value-based system approach to their investing, they stick with their investments longer,
Yeah, good point.
which could be good or bad,
Could be.
right? If you have lack of diversification and you stick with your investment strategy,
Right.
and a lot of those companies don't necessarily do well and they could go out of business, well, then that's not very good, right?
Right.
But if you're in a broad-based, diversified portfolio with hundreds of different companies, and you're still, very secure within that organization, you're gonna, when the market drops 20%, you're not going to sell.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So the way I would think about it is look for a good ESG fund or funds. So you have a few different ones potentially. And if there's certain causes that are near and dear to your heart, have some of your investments maybe, laser focused on that thing. Let's call it green energy, for example. But don't have your whole portfolio, because then you're not diversified like we talked about.
Very good.
Are you prepared for retirement? Schedule a free financial assessment with an experienced financial professional right online at purefinancial.com.